inside, and it's 2 feet high, so she can get the bulk of her 287 pounds inside. The reason we think she's standing there is because one of our bear educators took a video of Tasha walking around on top of the den, which is a very flat area. And I heard this huffing and a blow, and I thought, well, that certainly isn't Tasha, so it has to be Holly. So while the bears were in later on that day, JT and I went in and we measured and looked and took pictures, and sure enough, I believe she's been staying there because she's a no-show so many times. And she has slowed down so dramatically in the past week and a half. As you know from last year, Holly and Lucky both were slowing down by the 1st of October and really didn't want to come out of the bunkers after the 4th of October. So for her to be slowing down this early, I wonder what kind of a winter we're going to have here. Both bears are currently growing their winter coats. As you see, they're nice and fluffy. The hair sticking up, and with our handsome Lucky, who just looked around, I wonder if Tasha's maybe lurking somewhere here. No one. Our director is currently calling her. She may be in the area. So Tasha just looked to see if maybe they were calling her over near the cub tree. Holly has dug a few different places in the last 2 weeks. One into the mound, which was 2 weeks ago, and folks got to watch her dig this beautiful den. And then it collapsed, so she changed direction and is going under a rock, which is 55 inches back. She abandoned that area, and then that's why I believe she's currently in her old den right now. She dug in 2 other places, one near her existing den, which is the cabin, and one behind the bunkers, which is a sandy area, but it really can't go in too far because of the rocks that are back there. So as she enjoys her treats here, she usually in the afternoon goes back into the cabin area and waits there for more treats to be delivered to her. We occasionally close that gate up, and then she just goes in Tasha's, and her biggest deal in Tasha's den is she likes to get in Tasha's little pond, and she just sits there like, you never gave me one of these, so I think I'm just going to use this one. In the meantime, Tasha's been coming down here, and I hear she's enjoyed a couple of nice swims. It must be so nice for her to be able to get into this nice big pond and swim and act like a bear. It's really cool when we get to see that happening with the bears here and how they are intermingling with each other. Time after time, they just amaze us with what they do with each other. So as we continue watching, Lucky just looked behind him, so I don't think Tasha's too far away. I think she may be lurking here in the overgrowth here, the weeds. Our director is calling her to see if maybe he can get her to come down, or she may be in her den, who knows. She's a funny little bear and very, very sweet. So I already said 9.5-year-old Lucky is 446 pounds. Holly was weighed last week at 287 pounds. Now you'd think, how does a bear that size get into a 4x4 area? Well, during denning time, they kind of curl up and they put their noses, their snouts down onto their chest and breathe their nice warm air onto their tummy area. Now, if she were pregnant and had cubs, which she isn't and won't, she would be keeping those cubs warm with her nice warm air from her mouth and her nose. So that's how bears kind of keep warm. Their temperature doesn't drop a lot. Their normal body temperature is about 98, 99 degrees in just a normal day. And it generally doesn't drop to much past 89 degrees during hibernation. So their body functions continue as they are in their sleep. And the magic part of all this is that they don't defecate or urinate. And so all that urine turns into a usable protein. So it's always amazing that we can't study that sort of thing in humans. But Their muscle tone is good, and if they're a very heavy bear, like Tasha, like Holly and Lucky, then they have about 4 to 6 inches of fat that keeps them nice and comfortable and warm. And they're usually easily roused when they want to wake up, or if they hear a noise and want to investigate. They're very lethargic and they don't do much. They sleep a lot. But they also have play periods, as you've seen last year with Lucky and Holly. And it's really important when they're nesting to steal each other's straw. So that's something else that goes on inside the bed. So it's always fun to see who's going to wake up whom and what bear is going to sleep longer than the other. Holly's always been one that gets up right away, and she's ready in March and says, "Here I am. Let's get this feeding program started again." So we don't know about Tasha. We don't know if she's going to hibernate. Dr. Rogers seems to think that she may, maybe in December or January, but we're just not sure. She is growing a nice winter coat, though, as you've seen on the cams, that her coat is getting fluffy, and she looks like she's growing a nice winter coat. She weighs 182 pounds as of last week when we got her on the scale, and we're going to try to get her on the scale again real soon. So with that, I want to thank everyone, all of our visitors here. If you're interested in other wildlife around this area, the Wolf Center is just at the other end of town. They have 2 Arctic wolf pups that they just introduced last month, and they're getting along quite well with the rest of the pack. And they have some retired wolves, too. The wristband will get you in here the rest of the day. We close at 6 o'clock, and our last behind the scenes is at 5 o'clock. If you'd like to see the bears eat their dinner, that happens here at 4 o'clock. If you're interested in a membership at all that supports the bears and the center too, please see one of our retail associates. Any donations that you make goes directly to Bear Food and Bear Care, and we appreciate anything at all that you might give us. So thank you, folks, for visiting, and thank you, PTZ Driver, for letting folks see our bears. And it's a nice, probably butt shot of Holly there with her little tail. But thank you all, and we'll see you at 4 o'clock.